Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Welcome back, friends, to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. We are going to be continuing our series to help you as a social seller, direct seller, network marketing consultant, whatever you call yourself in the online space. We are going to continue the series on helping you to get the most out of the busiest time of year. And last week we had our Turquoise Talk guest, Rachel Perry, on. I hope you enjoyed that. And in that interview, we kind of talked about, her and I discussed just this culture that we're in right now and all the shifts and the changes that we're seeing in the industry. But one thing that will never change is that there will always be people looking for the opportunity, right? There's going to be people that you come into contact with, whether it's on social media or if you are still doing home parties or if you're doing online events or in-person events, then there are going to be people, especially as we kind of go through, and I'm saying, air quotes, recession with the state of our country right now, there are going to be people looking for opportunities. And so I wanted to talk with you a little bit about sharing the opportunity, maybe a mindset shift that you need to have about sharing the opportunity. And then this week and probably next week, I'm probably going to cover it over 2 episodes, maybe not next week, but it will be covered in one of these episodes for this series. And the reason being is these are 2 of the most powerful trainings that I offered when I was in the field and I was, leading my own team. These were the mindset shifts that I would either coach on individually or would coach as a group. I even spoke on this with the company. It was like one of their number 1 trainings, most listened to, watched, or sought after trainings. And so I thought I would share some of this information with you today. And so if you have a team or if you have some friends, some peers that are in direct sales, network marketing, then you definitely want to share these episodes and give them an opportunity to learn this. So I want to start out by asking you, what do you think of? Like, what thoughts go through your mind when you think about sharing the opportunity, sharing your business opportunity? Some people call it sponsoring, some people call it recruiting, however you prospecting, whatever you want to call it. What thoughts go through your mind when you think about that? Are you nervous? Are you scared? Are you afraid to be that pushy person? Are you just think it's for the higher ups to do? Like, what are the thoughts that you have? I want you to write those down. I also want you to think of, when you think of a superhero, what character traits or powers do you think of? When you think of like Superman, when you think of Iron Man, or you think of the Incredible Hulk, all these different superheroes, like, what are some of the character traits or powers that you think of? What is it that they do as a superhero? And I'm going to suggest, or what I like to say is, the number 1 thing they do is they rescue, right? You think about Superman coming in, swooping in and rescuing, Lois Lane or whatever bus is falling over the overpass. Like, he just swoops in and rescues, right? And there are real life superheroes every single day that we come into contact with. And I want you to think of yourself as one of them. So a real life superhero could be Martin Luther King Jr., it could be Billy Graham, Mother Teresa. Maybe you look at your upline or whoever shared the opportunity with you as a real life superhero because of the impact your business has had on you and your family. And you can be the same. You could be an everyday real life superhero for someone else this fall season and beyond. So you don't have to be famous to be a superhero. You could look around today. Like, who have you seen display superpowers today? If we were sitting in the room together, I would tell you to look at the girl next to you and say, hey, you're a superhero. And for some of you, being able to carve out time to listen to this podcast alone, or maybe you have little ones that are just, grabbing at you right now or needing everything right now, and you're not alone, but you're being a superhero right now because you're able to take the time to listen to these episodes. But how about the mom who took food to the homeless today? Would you say she's a superhero? Or the mom or the woman who already has 4 kiddos but decided to adopt just one more? Would you say she's an everyday real life superhero? Or what about the mom that's working 3 jobs to support her family? Would you say she's an everyday real life superhero? I'd say yes to that. That is real life superhero stuff that happens every single day. And so I want you to think about the 3 superpowers that a superhero has. And I want you to apply these as you go through this season, knowing there's someone out there who needs rescued, right? So the first one is supervision. If we're really looking, you will see those in need of the rescue. Is it the mom who needs a break from the kids? That was me, right? When I was in the industry, that was me. Is it a waitress that you learned when you were at the restaurant this week is working 3 jobs to support her family? Is it the college student maybe who's trying to pay their own way? Listen, I wish that online businesses were as popular as they are today. Back when I was in college, it would have been a little bit easier to help with my financial situation and not as hard as working in the restaurants. Is it a woman who is in a domestic violence situation and needs a way out? Or is it just someone who needs to meet some new people? Like she just needs more friends or he needs more friends. These are all people that if we're using our supervision, we'll be able to see them. And this could be, again, if you're completely 100% online and social selling, like pay attention to their Facebook posts, pay attention to the Instagram posts, pay attention to the conversations that you're seeing that are going online. Or maybe it's you're at church and you're hearing, you're seeing these situations. You're able to use your supervision to see these situations that you can swoop in and offer an opportunity that could, quite frankly, change their life.
Do you enjoy this podcast and you're wondering how you can start your own? Well, you're in luck. We help entrepreneurs launch their podcasts in 4 weeks. My name is Haley Murch, and my team and I manage this podcast. I'm a podcast expert who specializes in helping entrepreneurs launch their podcasts. Podcasts are a great way to expand your audience, provide a free resource for your audience, and to grow and monetize your business. We have openings this fall to help entrepreneurs start their podcasts. We would love to help you achieve this goal before the end of the year. Don't keep waiting. The podcast world needs your voice. We also offer support after the launch process to help maintain your podcast, and we do provide other services to current podcasters. If any of this sounds like something you want to do and need support with your podcast journey, please contact me at hello@haleymerch.com, HAILIMURCH.com, or see the links in the show notes to book a call. We cannot wait to help you start your podcast.
So the first one is supervision. The second one is super hearing. We've all mastered the art of active listening. You know what I mean? When you're listening, but you're thinking about something else, right? I tell people all the time, it's really hard. Like I have to say someone's name like 3 times back to back to back because I'm hearing it, I'm listening, but it doesn't compute because I'm thinking about something else. And my brain is always going. So I've definitely mastered the art of active listening. But hearing is totally different. And if you've ever seen the movie White Man Can't Jump, there's that scene where Woody Harrelson, is it Harrelson? Yeah, Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes are in the convertible and Jimi Hendrix comes on and Wesley Snipes is saying, you can't hear Jimmy, right? And he's like, I can hear. He's like, no, you can't. You're listening to Jimmy, but you can't hear Jimmy. And so there's a difference in listening and hearing. And as a superhero, they have the superpower of hearing. Hearing means that we hear the cries for help and take action, right? Think about Superman again. He could hear Lois Lane screaming for help, what looked like galaxies away, right? Because he had the superpower of super hearing. Again, maybe it's by asking questions, like be genuinely interested in others and their stories, and use 2 ears, right, and 1 mouth for a reason, so that we can listen more than we talk. We can hear more than we talk. So it could be in your Bible study. It could be in the grocery store line. It could be just being aware of your surroundings and the conversations that are going on around you. Now, I'm not saying when you hear some stranger at the grocery store talk about whatever is going on, that you slap your catalog, in her hand and ask her to join your business. I'm not saying that at all. You have to build rapport with people, right? But my point is, if you have the mindset of a real life, everyday superhero, then you're going to pay attention to things through that lens. And if you really tap into your super hearing, you will hear those people who are crying out for help, that are struggling in silence and feel like they're all alone, or feel like there's no other opportunity, no other way for them to make some extra income, to meet some new people, to maybe get out of a really bad situation at home. I mean, the stories are endless. And you know what? That's probably a really good idea to do for a series here on the podcast, is just to bring on women, which is mostly who I know in the industry is women, to share their stories on the impact that having their own online business has had on them. So stay tuned for that. If you like that idea, send me a message on Instagram. But that just kind of came to mind because my story is different from your story, and your story is from someone else. But there's been a huge impact that this industry has had many, many years, many, many women and men that it has had on over time. So it's just encouraging to hear other people's stories too. Okay. Super strength number 3 is strength, right? You think about Incredible Hulk, Superman, Iron Man, they're all fit and buff and they're strong. And when I want you to think of strength, because you're like, I don't even work out, Martine. That is not me. I don't have superpower of strength. I want you to think about the strength, like flexing your courageous muscles to share, to get over yourself and, well, how do I say it? And what do I say? And are they going to see me as pushy? Like, get over yourself, it's not about you. It's about them, and have the strength to share, because I'm so thankful someone shared it with me, even though I'm not in the industry anymore. It's a huge impact on my life. A huge part of my story and where God's taking me next is because someone was strong enough and courageous enough to share the opportunity. They were probably nervous too. They were probably worried that their words weren't going to come out right too. When you're other people focused, you're not worried so much about what you're going to say or how you're going to say it. You just know you have a gift that someone else needs. You have an opportunity that someone else needs. You have a way to rescue them out of that situation. So there is someone at every place that you go, I believe. It could be, again, if you're at the home party, there's someone at every party who needs this, who needs your opportunity. There's someone probably at your Bible study, at least one who is thinking, I wish there was a way for me to support my husband and bring in a little extra income. I was just having a conversation yesterday with a friend who's like, I really could use just a little extra income. And, she's thinking about getting back into the industry. And so there will be somebody, no matter where you are, who is thinking, is there an opportunity for me? And so will you have the courage, and will you use your superpower, your everyday real life superpower strength, which you have? If you're a mom, you have that strength. It's within you, because we have to have that as a mom. So everyone is included here when I say that, mom or not mom, but just you have the strength. The second part of that is the strength to set her up right. And I like to give the analogy of, Superman, didn't use his vision and his hearing and strength to swoop in and rescue Lois, just to drop her mid-flight, right? He swoops in, gets her, and I'm like, oh, I got you. Now I'm just going to drop you in mid-flight. And so I want you to think about that as you are sharing the opportunity, and you're helping these women or men come into the business. Set them up right. Like, don't just bring them in and then drop them mid-flight, because it's new to them. Even if they've been with another company, it's still new in your company, right? Lots of different things and changes. So help her launch her business, help her set it up online, help her, to know what are the most important things right now in the beginning. Help her with knowing the importance of doing what you just did with her, which is sharing the opportunity. But don't just swoop in, rescue, and then drop them in mid-flight. There are a lot of things that happen when someone, starts a new business, a lot of newness, a lot of excitement. And we want to make sure that we set them up by keeping the main things. What's really going to help her to achieve whatever it was she told you she needed rescue from, or whatever goals that she has. How can you help her achieve that as fast as possible? So in closing, I really just wanted to share this. Really, the purpose was to help you to see that sharing the opportunity in a different light, right? Not all of us or everyone that joins your team is going to start the business to build a giant organization. If you do want to join, or you do want to build a giant organization, then sharing the opportunity and sponsoring and leader promotions is the only way to build a giant organization. But for some, that may not be the reason why. And it wasn't for me when I first started my business. But what I have always wanted to do was to help others. And maybe that's for you. And maybe that's why you're in the business. You just love helping people. And that person you need to help and rescue is just a conversation away. She's sitting there waiting for someone to show her and give her some hope that there's an opportunity for her. So being a sponsoring superhero is a win-win. It really is, because you get to be a part of someone else's story. You get to be a part of their success journey. And then it's a win for them because of the impact that it'll have on her family, and those that she comes into contact with. So I'll end with one of my favorite people to quote is Zig Ziglar. And he says, you can have anything in life you want if you just help other people get what they want. And that's really, in a nutshell, what sharing the opportunity this fall is going to mean for you and for her. It's a win-win. So I hope this will help you to see sponsoring and sharing your opportunity this fall in a totally different light. I hope you'll come back next week, because I have some more mindset shifts that I want you to really think about when it comes to this specific topic. And then I do have a couple of other Turquoise Talk guests lined up to help us also with this series for direct selling or social selling. I hope you're finding it helpful, and I will catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.